Good evening. We are bringing you commentary of the Women's Euro 2022 semi-final between England and Sweden. I'm your alternative commentator, Nicholas Jones, and you are listening to the Commentary Hub. The game is taking place at Bramall Lane, home of Sheffield United, and I'm pleased to have with me as your alternative co-commentator, Ryan Madden. Ryan, good evening.
Good evening, Nicholas. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're delighted to have you with us. England go into this crucial game for them unbeaten in 18 matches. Do you think they can extend this even further with another win tonight?
Well, I definitely think home advantage could play a key factor for England tonight, and I think the highs of the Spain comeback in the quarterfinals, I think, will only try and push England even further tonight, with a big crowd expected at Bramall Lane.
Okay, we'll have further thoughts in a couple of minutes. We'll now go through the lineups, starting with England. In goal is number 1, Mary Earps. Number 2, Lucy Bronze. Number 3, Rachel Daly. Number 4, Kira Walsh. Number 6, Millie Bright. Number 7, Beth Mead. Number 8, Leah Williamson. Number 9, Ellen White. Number 10, Georgia Stanway. Number 11, Lauren Hemp. And number 14, Fran Kirby. An unchanged lineup for Sweden. In goal is number 1, Hedvig Lindahl. Number 3, Linda Sembrant. Number 4, Hannah Glass. Number 6, Magda Eriksson. Number 9, Kosovari Aslani. Number 10, Sofia Jakobsson. Number 11, Stina Blackstenius. Number 13, Amanda Illerstadt. Number 14, Natalie Bjorn. Number 16, Philippa Angeldal. And number 18, Fridolina Rolfol. On the subs bench for England, number 13, Hannah Hampton. And number 21, Ellie Roebuck, the reserve goalkeepers. Number 5, Alex Greenwood. Number 12, Jess Carter. Number 15, Demi Stokes. Number 16, Jill Scott. Number 17, Nikita Paris. Number 18, Chloe Kelly. Number 19, Beth England. Number 20, Ella Toone. Number 22, Lottie Woman-Moy. And number 23, Alessia Russo. For Sweden, the reserve goalkeepers. For Sweden on the subs bench are the reserve goalkeepers. Number 12, Jennifer Falk. And number 21, Zahira Musovic. Number 2, Jonna Andersson. Number 5, Amanda Nielden. Number 7, Emma Kullberg. Number 8, Lena Hurtig. Number 15, Rebecca Blomqvist. Number 17, Caroline Seeger. Number 19, Johanna Reiting Canrid. And number 20, Hannah Bennison. So after going through those lineups, Ryan, what do you make of England's unchanged lineup?
It's very interesting. I think Serena Wagner has not really sort of changed many of her lineups at all in this tournament, which I think is more of a belief in the 11 that she picks. But I think it also keeps the subs bench hungry to come on and make a difference. So just like Ella Toone did, I think she'd probably feel quite unfortunate not to start this evening. Of course, scored the equaliser against Spain, but still no place for her in Wagner's team tonight. But she has faith in this 11, I think, to get the job done tonight, and I think that's why she's picked it. As the old saying goes, if it's not broke, don't fix it, and that's exactly why I think she's gone unchanged tonight.
That's right. And now we can touch on England's opponents tonight. Sweden, runners-up to Canada in last year's Tokyo Olympics, and they've already won a tournament this year, the Algarve Cup, by beating Italy 6-5 on penalties. And you have to go back to 1984 in the first ever Women's Euros. England and Sweden actually faced each other in the final of the tournament that year. Both sides scored once in each leg before Sweden won 4-3 on penalties. How time how times have changed, and statistically, England have only won against Sweden 3 times and lost 15. But back to the here and now. As already mentioned, Sweden as mentioned before going on air, Sweden topped their group just despite drawing against the Netherlands, and have shown. And despite their low goal score number of only 9, they have shown that they mean business. So how do you see them performing against England?
I think it's still going to be it could potentially still be tricky because you mentioned they've only scored 9 goals, but in knockout football, all you have to, if you can defend well, all you've got to do is outscore your opponent. And England have only conceded once, but Sweden have only conceded twice as well. So when they do score, it's very rarely they do concede. So that can be a bit of a worry. I think if England go 1-0 up, go get the first goal tonight, I think they'll be okay. But if Sweden do take the lead like Spain did, I think England could. I wouldn't go as far as say be in trouble, but it could be very, very difficult because Sweden are very, very good at defending. As we've seen this tournament, knockout football can be so brutal. You've got to take your chances. And this Sweden, they haven't scored many, but like I said, they haven't conceded many either. So I think that could be the danger for England tonight, potentially.
It certainly could well be the danger for them. Which of the Sweden players do you think we should be looking out for?
Well, their top scorer, they've been sharing around the goals actually, but their top scorer is actually Felipe Aguadal. She scored twice in this tournament, so I would say she's definitely one to look out for, as well as Rolf. Apologies for the pronunciation here. Farida Rolfo, I think I got that right. Who's playing on the right-hand side this evening. She's also a dangerous threat who I think is almost, a lot of pundits are saying in the build-up to this game have almost been a lot of people have been waiting for her to really spark in this tournament, and tonight could well be her showcase against England, and I definitely think that she'd definitely be one to watch.
Philippa Angeldal is a familiar name in England, plays for Manchester City in the Women's Super League. Also, another player I think to look out for is Stina Blackstenius. She's been contributing to Sweden's goals, regular at Arsenal in the Women's Super League. So familiar to England, so familiar in England as well. If Sweden win, they'll make their first Women's Euros final since 2001. They last made the semi-finals in 2013, lost to Germany 1-0, and it was on their own turf. Will England be able to break the losing? Will England be able to not have a losing the semi-finals at home curse of their own? We shall see. But something else you mentioned just before coming on air is that Sarina Wiegman actually managed the Netherlands against England when they were managed the Netherlands when they beat England in the women's Euros, in the last Euro semi-finals in 2017. That's surely got to be a good omen for the Lionesses.
For sure, absolutely. And the fact that the Lionesses haven't lost a game since Sarina Wiegman has been in charge as well. 18 games, 16 wins, 2 draws, and I've just seen a statistic saying England have scored 100 goals and only conceded 4 in 18 matches since Sarina Wiegman has been in charge. So she's definitely been the real spearhead to the Lionesses' success. And we mentioned her previous success with the Netherlands knocking out England in 2017 in the last European campaign against England. She's got the experience that I think these group of players needed. She's got the experience of managing in big games, and this is certainly a huge game for the Lionesses.
Before we see the teams coming out, just got to quickly mention that for England, it is their fourth It is their fourth consecutive appearance in the semi-finals at an international tournament. And the players are now making their way out of the tunnel at Bramall Lane and walking onto the pitch. England leading the players out. And our referee tonight is Esther Stalbly of Switzerland, refereed the Euro 2017 final between the Netherlands and Denmark. The England players getting a standing ovation from the fans and everybody at Bramall Lane. Sweden have now just come out as well, and they are gathering around now on the centre of the pitch for the national anthems, which we will hear momentarily. And we will start, and everyone just now getting into their own position. It's now time for the national anthems with the national anthem of Sweden. Both national anthems sung by the players and management. Lost the last part of "God Save the Queen" there, but we've got the pictures back anyway. As I mentioned before, the players coming out. Before the players come out, it's England's fourth consecutive semi-final appearance at an international tournament. They've lost in the previous tournaments at the semi-final stage. Do you think they can go one better this time and reach their first Euro final since 2009?
Absolutely, I think they definitely can. I think it will be a lot tougher than what people might think it will be tonight. But I would go for a narrow 2-1 win.
Okay, now we're going to go through the lineups for England. It's Earps in goal, Daly, Williamson, Bright, and Bronze make up the back four in defence. A split midfield with Walsh and the extra time heroine Stanway in the centre of midfield. Hemp, Kirby, and Mead are the forward three. Ellen White is the lone striker. And as we mentioned, Esther Stalbly, the referee, assistant referee Suzanne Kung of Switzerland and Sarah Telik of Austria, the assistant referees. The fourth official, Katarina Monsul of Ukraine. A video assistant referee tonight, Paul van Burkel of the Netherlands, with the assistant VARs, Dennis Hiegler, also of the Netherlands, and Paolo Valeri of Italy. For the lineups for Sweden, Lindahl is in goal. Then the back four of Glass, Eriksson, Sembrant, and Ilstedt. with Bjorn, Aslani, and Angeldal in midfield. Jakobsen, Blackstenius, and Rolfo are the three forwards. So different formations, but England would perhaps, you'd say perhaps would be the strongest side, given that it's unchanged from the previous match. But Sweden I'd say they're probably not to be underestimated. Anyway, final thoughts, Ryan, before kickoff.
It's knockout football. Whoever turns up on the day who wins the match. As cliche as that is, you can't take any teams for granted. So it will definitely be a tough test for England tonight. And regardless who you face at this point of the competition, anyone's worthy of winning it when you get to the semi-final. So you can't take anyone for granted for sure. It should be a great game to watch.
The players have just taken the knee, as has been customary for almost 2 years, and we are underway for the Women's Euros semi-final at Bramall Lane between England and Sweden. And it was England to kick us off. England are wearing all white. Sweden wearing the yellow shirts and socks with the navy blue shorts. And already Sweden have the opening advantage. They're going from right to left. Could this be a shock already for Sweden? But England did really well to deflect that away. Jakobsen was on the attack.
Yeah, that was a warning sign for England there. Just lost out on the halfway instantly, and Sweden showing just how dangerous they can be right from the get-go.
And it's not all over yet, as Sweden have just been given a throw-in, and they still have control of the ball. And it looked like it was Aslani, the captain, almost had the ball, but England were quick to. But England were quick to see to that. I'd have to say that England have more sharper reflexes than they did against Spain.
For sure, and you're seeing Mary Earps there, just telling her players, just keep your heads. It's a massive occasion for all the players out there. They've just got to keep their concentration.
England in play now, and it's England in play now. Now it's with Georgia Stanway. She's just passed to Kirby, and it's now towards Beth Mead. Beth Mead crossing. Was aiming for Fran Kirby, but the ball was directed back at Kirby. Now it's with Beth Mead again. She scored 5 in this tournament. Can she add more? But not at the way things are going right now. The ball was just nicked by Sweden, but Millie Bright has just taken it back for England. Gives the ball away to Sweden, and it was with Rolfo. Rolfo crossing the ball now towards Blackstenius. Blackstenius just outside the goal area. She's passed now to I think that was Angeldal, but Angeldal's lost the ball to England. Ellen White now on her own, trying to get round the Sweden defenders, but great defending by Sweden so far. 2 minutes in, England 0, Sweden 0, and we're also on the commentary hub too, Storm FM, JB Sports, and you can also hear us on our Twitch channel as Sweden set up a cross, but Mary Earps was able to save that one. She is really cool. She is really cool as a cucumber, is Mary Earps.
Absolutely, especially when you're in goal in a big major tournament. You want to make sure that you're calm, confident, and that will only put her defense more at ease, knowing how confident she is in that.
So England back in control with the ball. Millie Bright just manages to catch the ball just out before it just goes out of play. Passes to Mary Earps. Now it's with Daly who crosses it forward to, I think that was Fran Kirby. Yes, indeed, it was Kirby, one of the goal scorers against Northern Ireland. Is Rachel Daly now for England. She's pelting her way up the pitch. She's trying to go around the Sweden defenders. She has managed to find Lauren Hemp trying to cross the ball towards Ellen White, but blocked at the last moment. By the Sweden defenders, and you have to say that looked very threatening by Hemp. But just as I mentioned that, it's a long throw to England. Sorry, Ryan, I was Sorry, Ryan. I think it's going to be a Daly to take the throw. She throws to Hemp, but Hemp was deflected. But the attempt by Hemp was deflected away by Angledale. So England are now starting to show that that they are the team that mean business now. As Williamson, I think, crosses towards Beth Mead, but Mead just couldn't get to the ball in time. But that was really, really close.
Yeah, England now are starting to get the passes a little bit more crisper, and you're seeing just how dangerous they can be. But so far, the Swedish defence have been solid. Still very early stages, though, of course.
I think I just saw for a moment that the ball might have actually just grazed past Hannah Glass's arm, but nothing said about it as Millie Bright bandaged the ball around. It was momentarily with Walsh, but what's just happened? A foul on Rachel Daly by the looks of it, and I think it was by the captain Aslani, the referee, talking to Aslani. We'll take another look at it, and it was in fact Stanway who was pushed down by Rolfo. I called this one wrong, but the referee does not. But the referee does not give a yellow card. Beth Mead now with the ball for England does really well to hold off the Sweden defenders, but her effort was in vain. It's now for a throw to be taken by Lucy Bronze. Bronze now throwing to Stanway, who's passed to Williamson. Now finds Lauren Hemp. Trying to find someone to pass the ball into. Foul just inside the 18-yard box. Referee says play on. And Daly now has the ball for England. Tackled from behind by Sophia Jakobsen. Jakobsen passing the ball around now for Sweden. Almost picked up by Rolfo, but Lucy Bronze was able to get to it just in time. Like you said, Ryan, crisper reflexes by England, whereas against Spain, they were all over the shop as Fran Kirby now has the ball just outside the 18-yard box, but passes to Hampshire. It's now straight into the goal area, but saved massively by Hedvig Lindar, who just kicks it out. And Sweden now have a chance of their own, but a well-timed foul by Georgia Stanway. And in fact, the player that went down, Eslani, has been fouled by Stanway. I'd say that was a bit rough by Georgia Stanway.
Yeah, you actually saw it was almost identical to the foul that Assolini done on Georgia Stanway around a minute ago, and it's the same, almost the same foul, but in reverse there around the same area as well. So yeah, free kick and no yellow card.
Free kick to be taken by Aslani. Aslani kicks the ball into the 18-yard box, saved easily by Mary Earps.
Yeah, I think Assolini there would have wanted that free kick to be a little bit more dangerous. It was very easy there for the England goalkeeper.
Kira Walsh now for England. Passes down the wing to Millie Bright, who passes now up the wing to Rachel Daly. Daly now Williamson, I should say, to Daly. Daly now in control of the ball. She just passes to Frank Kirby. It was just over the line, but Hemp sensed danger and passed back to Daly. A long range cross now by Williamson towards Lauren Hemp. Almost loses it. Kirby almost had it, but she loses it to Sweden, and the ball is now with Blackstenius. Blackstenius punched by Mary Earps. That looked goal bound to me.
Yeah, for sure. And Sweden once again showing just how dangerous they are in a counter-attacking situation. Mary Earps had to get a glove onto the ball there, otherwise Sweden would have definitely gone 1-0 up. But it was a top save by Mary Earps.
Very top save, and you can understand why she is the perfect goalkeeper choice for England. And after almost 8.5 minutes, it's a corner to Sweden to be taken by Aslani. Aslani gets into position. She kicks the ball in towards the goal area, punched up by Mary Earps. England did really well. England did really well to hold their line, but it's not over yet. Sweden now looking to create another chance of their own. Bit of argy-bargy going on between White and Blackstenius. White able to deflect the ball away, but once again, top form defending by England from that corner.
Yeah, but I think you have to say that Mary Earps getting a little bit overcommitted there. I think you'd want your goalkeeper to come out and catch the ball, and she was almost in a lot of danger there. But luckily, the ball's come off the bar and no danger in the end. But that's probably the first time we've seen Mary Earps a little bit unconfident there, committing towards the ball.
Just caught a glimpse of a foul by I think that was Bjorn on Stanway, and the referee Staubley coming over to have a bit of a chat with her. Not very much. Just a quick plea in the ear. So Bjorn on Hemp. Bjorn on Hemp. Was that just a normal incident?
Yeah, I mean it was definitely a clear foul, but I think that was just the Sweden defender trying to slow down the England attack as quickly as possible.
Rodolfo now with the ball for Sweden. She passes to a Blackstenius, defended by Scott, cleared away by Bright, but she gives it away to Hannah Glass. Glass aims for goal, but England once again right on the button as Williamson now passes the ball around to Georgia Stanway. She's just gone over the centre line and passes down the wing to Beth Mead. Mead now with the ball, and she's passed again to Lucy Bronze, and now towards Kira Walsh. Walsh back to Bronze. Bronze passing to Beth Mead, and Mead has found Georgia Stanway. She passes back to Walsh. Now Rachel Daly just inside the circle of the centre line. Daly passing again, this time to Leah Williamson, or was that Williamson passing around Daly? Williamson crossing to Beth Mead. Mead does well to find Georgia Stanway, but Stanway's shot is too wide. She should have at least crossed to Ellen White, in my view, or aimed a little closer. But what do you reckon?
Yeah, for sure. I think Georgia Stanway saw her name up in lights there, just like she did against Spain. But this time it was the wrong decision for sure. Should have got it into the box to Ellen White, but she's lashed it home and probably gone into Rosette there.
Goal kick for Sweden to be taken by Hedvig Lindahl, formerly of Chelsea, now at Atletico Madrid. And after almost 12 minutes, it's still England 0, Sweden 0. And England and Georgia Stanway tried to tackle the ball off Aslani, but the referee wasn't having any of it. So she's now trying to sort of calm proceedings down. Professionally handled by Esther Staubley.
Yeah, for sure.
So England and Sweden now both looking very committed, and Sweden now on the attack towards goal, but deflected away by Lucy Bronze. This is more like the kind of football we want to see, as Mead crosses the ball forward to Fran Kirby. Kirby does really well to hold off the advances of Jakobsen. She passes around the ball to Kira Walsh. Walsh towards Leah Williamson. Now Rachel Daly. Daly looking for someone to pass it to. She passes back to Fran Kirby, who in turn finds Williamson. Williamson now passing down the wing to Kira Walsh, who in turn finds Lucy Bronze. But Bronze loses the ball to Rolfo. Rolfo running towards the goal area. She's just inside the 18-yard box. Crosses and hits the side netting. She should have gotten her angles a few inches to the right, and that would have been the opening goal for Sweden.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I might have to see a replay on this here, but it did look like Lucy Bronze slightly shoved Rolfo just before the strike, and it just put the forward off. Didn't go down straight away, but if she did go down straight away, I think England could have well been in trouble there. But nothing given, said the ref, and goal kick.
Yeah, good Yes, even so, that would have been good tactical defending by Lucy Bronze. Lucky to not concede a penalty, as England now have control of the ball. It's a shot. It's a forward cross by Williamson towards Hemp. Bundled down by, I think that was Illustat, but England still do really well to hold on to the ball. Now Williamson now with the ball. She crosses forward to Alan White. White now to Lauren Hemp. Both the teammates at Manchester City, as is Kira Walsh, and she's now passed it back towards Williamson. Stanway back now. Williamson again. Now straight back to Stanway. Stanway passes the ball, or should that be a long-range cross to Lucy Bronze? Bronze passing to Mead. Mead tries to find White, but defended very well by Sweden. And that is more like the football we want to see. Two teams, both equally committed.
Absolutely. That's probably the first time as well Beth Mead has managed to get the ball, the cross that she's been after, and she's been managed to connect so well all tournament. And full credit there to Eriksson there, the Swedish centre half there, for getting her head onto the ball there and out of play for a corner. But as you said, that was good play all round from both teams.
So corner to England. Corner to England. This is the chance for England to open their accounts, and straight towards Alan White, but it's not to be, unfortunately. Had that ball gone in and White's gotten her angles more correct, she would have levelled Wayne Rooney's score, but the Sweden defenders did really well to get in her way there.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been opening 15 minutes. There's been chances for both teams, and it really could go either way in this game. They're very well evenly matched, both sides, in the early stages.
Serena Wigman looking impassive on the touchline as Sweden now take control of the ball with Blackstenius. Blackstenius now passing to Engledow. Now back towards Blackstenius. Blackstenius just outside the 18-yard box, but passes straight to Bjorn, but deflected away by England. It's now with Linda Sembrant, who scored at the very last possible moments against Belgium, and now it's with Bjorn. Bjorn to, I couldn't see who that was. It might have been Aslani, but England take the ball back and concede again to Bjorn for Sweden. Blackstenius to Aslani. Aslani trying to hold off the advance of Kira Walsh, almost succeeding. But that's given a throw in to England. I think out of all the players, for Sweden, I'd have to say Aslani has really stood out for me as Rachel Daly gets ready to take the throw in for England. She was signaling to Lauren Hemp or somebody to take the ball, but Sweden were able to take control. And England were able to deflect that attempt this time. Like I say, Aslani has been the standout player for me so far for Sweden, as she is about to take a corner for Sweden, the second of this game. We're now approaching 17 and a half minutes. It's still England 0, Sweden 0, and the referee speaking to Blackstenius. Nothing much, just a quick chat as Sweden and England get into position to make their own contributions to the corner. Aslani takes a few step backs, raises her hand, kicks the ball in towards the goal area, deflected away by England, and it's now with Jakobsen. Jakobsen tries to cross the ball in, but again, England were able to keep that one out really effectively, and the referee has signalled to stop for something. I think that might have been a challenge on Beth Mead. We'll have to await further confirmation. We'll have to await further confirmation on that one. But yes, indeed, it was. Yes, indeed, it was a foul on Beth Mead. It was Sembrant who got involved with that one. how did you see that?
I think it was more or less 50-50. Both players going for the ball there, and Beth Mead's was just caught a little bit late there by the a little bit late. But I think both players had eyes on the ball there, but it was a foul.
A foul on
mentioned.
Just briefly seen a foul on Georgia Stanway by the looks of it, but nothing given. And Sweden now take the ball back with Rolfo. Rolfo passing to Hannah Glass. It's Glass once more for Sweden, but nicked by Mead for England and straight towards Georgia Stanway. Now Lauren Hebb. Hebb just outside the 8, just now inside the goal area. She passes to Beth Mead. Mead tries to cross, but saved by Sweden. I think Hebb should have at least gone on a bit further. And it's now Kira Walsh for England. Williamson towards Walsh. Now back towards Leah Williamson. Should Hebb have gone on?
It definitely looked like she had the time to go on there and try and finish herself, but just maybe it might have been nerves, or maybe she just wanted to pass it across. But yeah, that definitely could have been a great opportunity. But Sweden then once again holding firm defensively, just like England are up the other end as well.
67% ball possession so far for England. Stanway with the ball. Almost loses it to Sweden. She manages to pass towards Lauren Hebb. Hebb passing the ball into the goal here. Almost picked by Alan White, but White just misses another opportunity. She is not having the best of luck so far tonight. And that's a deflection by Eriksson. Kind of put the kibosh on that latest effort by her.
Yeah, once again, that was created by Lauren Hemp on that left-hand side. Her and Beth Mead will be the two players that will be wanting to try and cause that back line all sorts of problems. But so far, I think it's Lauren Hemp that has really managed to get in behind the Swedish defence a few times now.
21 minutes in, England 0, Sweden 0. You're listening to the Commentary Hub with me, Nicholas Jones, and Ryan Madden. As Sweden now have control of the ball, bit of a shove on Rolfo by Millie Brighton. The ball is now straight to the goal area, but deflected away by Rachel Daly, but she loses it to Sophia Jakobsen. Jakobsen trying to cross to a Blackstenius. That looked almost goal bound to me, but England were able to hold their lines really well.
Yeah, Sweden still this game for the first opening 20 minutes, very much end to end. And I think my prediction at the beginning of the first goal in this game being so crucial, I think we're going to see just how crucial that might be. But both sides just are so determined to deny the other at the moment.
Yes, very determined, and now it's Leah Williamson with the ball for England. She's passed now to Daly, who in turn finds Lauren Hebb. Lauren Hebb with the ball. Is she going to go on her own? No, she's passed to Georgia Stanway. Stanway in control of the ball. Saved by Hedvig Lindahl. That shot looked too low.
Yeah, she didn't quite get the pace on the shot there that she would have wanted there. Georgia Stanway just couldn't. I'm not quite sure if the defender probably did just about enough to put her off as well. But easy save in the end for Hedvig Lindahl.
Total attempts by England 6. Sweden only have 5, and Sweden now looking like they're about to equalise on that. But England are still able to hold their lines. But they've lost the ball to Sweden. It's now Aslani towards Jakobsen. Jakobsen tries to find Blackstenius or somebody, but England were able to clear their lines. And in fact, the ball was well cleared out by Georgia Stanway, but she's given the ball to Sembrant. Sembrant to Eriksson. Eriksson now in control. Eriksson now passing back to Sembrant. Ellen White trying to hunt them down, but Sweden able to hold their lines well. And it's now Daly towards Kira Walsh. Walsh passing now to Frank Kirby. Kirby now down the wing to Lucy Bronze. Bronze was looking for Georgia Stanway, but well blocked by Eriksson, who in turn gives the ball back towards Bronze. And well deflected again by Natalie Bjorn as the ball was headed for Ellen White. It's now with Daly, who passes to Lauren Hemp, and Hemp's attempts on a cross was well deflected by Philippa Angeldal. Angeldal managing to hold on to the ball really well. It's now with Aslani, but it's deflected out for a throw-in by Fran Kirby. Kirby, despite not scoring that many goals herself, she has been an essential cog in England's midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. Always trying to create in the middle of the park, and also being able to get back there to help out the defence.
Throw into Sweden now, as Fran Kirby now looks to see what else she can do throughout this game. Throw in taken by Sweden, but it was deflected for a long-range cross to Jakobsen. Jakobsen tried to get to the ball, but well saved, but well sorted out by Rachel Daly, and it will be a goal kick now to England to be taken by Mary Earps. Serena Wigman still looking very intent, as is her assistant coach Ian Verink, who of course was in the main. Of course, took the main role after Serena Wigman had COVID-19 in the match in the build-up leading to their 5-0 win over Northern Ireland. But Serena Wigman is now fit and well. As Williamson has the ball, passes to Stanway, now back towards Williamson. Williamson now looking to pass up the wing, I should say, to Rachel Daly. Although Jakobsen is hounding her, Daly passes back to Williamson. Williamson needs to pass to, I was going to say Kira Walsh, but it went to Ellen White. Now back towards Walsh. Now with Daly, who in turn passes back to Williamson. Williamson crossing the ball a long range towards Lauren Hemp, but Sweden were able to see to that one, and the ball cleared away by Hedvig Lindahl, but caught by Walsh for England. And now Williamson after a poor deflection. But what on earth has happened? I think a Sweden player had a coming together with Walsh. It was Angeldal. How do you see this one?
Yeah, it looks like Kira Walsh has just caught Angeldal a little bit too late there. The referee's seen it and has given the foul. I think Kira Walsh didn't really have much to argue about there. It was definitely a free kick, I think.
Free kick taken by Sweden, but that comes to naught as England were able to see to that one. It's another throw into Sweden, and Sweden look like they're about to create a good chance. It's Rolfo now with the ball, manages to just take it off Bronze, who in turn passes to, I think that was Bjorn. But I think I just saw an England player go down outside the box. No, it was actually Stanway just inside. Bit of a shove in the back by Bjorn.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, she's gone down quite easily for sure, but in that kind of situation, I don't think you can blame Georgia Stanway at all with the danger that she was under in that situation, and she was just caught there, and the referees seen it and given the foul.
Yes, really good defending before the foul by Georgia Stanway. Millie Bright passing down the wing to Lucy Bronze, who in turn finds Georgia Stanway. Stanway tries to gain control of the ball, but almost loses out. She passes to Kira Walsh, having sensed danger, and Walsh has crossed to Lauren Hemp. Hemp enters the goal area, but deflected out by Amanda Illerstedt. As we've been saying all throughout this game, both sides look like they mean business, and it's a corner given to England. This will be their second. They failed to create a goal scoring chance from the first one. What can they do with this second? It looks to me like Beth Mead will be kicking that one in, as Mead manages to kick the ball into the goal area, but Sweden were able to hold their line. England and Sweden just can't seem to get through each other at the moment.
Absolutely, and it could well be a case of maybe it might take a set piece from either side to break the deadlock, because both sides seem so determined in open play. It could take a free kick or a mistake. We've seen a couple of mistakes, misplaced passes, and I think eventually you're going to see either side take advantage of the other's misfortunes at some point in this game.
Yes, certainly. As Sweden now have control of the ball, that was Rolfo passing to Bjorn, but Bjorn just sent the ball a bit further. But Bjorn just sent the ball further away than she needed to, and it's a throw into England to be taken by Lucy Bronze. We're almost approaching the half-hour mark. It's still England 0, Sweden 0, and foul on Ellen White. Seemingly, but the referee is saying nothing about it, and another throw, but a throw-in given to Sweden this time to be taken by Hannah Glass. Glass throws to Rolfo, defended really well by England. Walsh to Rachel Daly. Daly now crossing the ball forward to Fran Kirby. Kirby almost loses control of the ball. She's trying to keep control. She's trying to keep her cool. She does. Mead to Georgia Stanway, and Mead passing back down the field to Leah Williamson. Now Rachel Daly up the wing towards Lauren Hemp. Back to Daly. Daly crossing the ball further towards Ellen White. White just misses her opportunity, and it's now with Beth Mead. Mead has control of the ball. She tries to pass to Georgia Stanway, but defended really well by Rolfo. The tactics by Mead, I have to say, were a bit scrappy. She should have thought this one out a bit more.
Absolutely. I think Beth Mead will be absolutely kicking herself, because she had a lot more time, I think, than what she thought she did. And I'll cut myself off here because it's like Sweden are on the attack.
They certainly are, but it was well defended by Leah Williamson, and it still remains level between England and Sweden as Angeldal has control of the ball, but fouled by Ellen White. That looks a bit extreme to me. Ellen White seemingly trying to protest about it, but that looked very rough in my view.
Yeah, I think that's what they call a forwards foul for sure. Definitely was quite rough there by Ellen White. Not used to being at that part of the pitch, and yeah, that's definitely what they call a forwards foul for sure.
We're not used to seeing Ellen White commit fouls like that, and it's a Sweden penalty, and White and England could well pay the price for this free kick, and it's from the far back of the corner to be taken by Aslani. Aslani kicks the ball into the 18-yard box, but England again see to this one really well, and Lauren Hemp manages to deflect that ball out again. Very sharp defending by England from that free kick.
Yeah, it really was. I believe it was Lauren Hemp as well that managed to get the ball out of the danger zone there as well, and very well defended there by England.
A look of tension now on the faces of the England fans. Mary Earps passes the ball out of goal to Leah Williamson. Williamson passes back to Millie Bright. Bright tries to hold off the advances of Blackstenius. She is able to regain control of the ball after passing it to her keeper. Bright passes up the wing to Leah Williamson. Williamson now passing to Daly, who needs to find someone to pass to forward very soon. She finds Lauren Hemp. Hemp just inside the 18-yard box. Deflected away by Ellen White, who almost got a boot to it. Now back in towards the 18-yard box with Beth Mead, and England take the lead! Beth Mead, the goal machine, has put the Lionesses in front! And the fans go ballistic at Bramall Lane! The hugs are well deserved! Could this be the kickstart for England's road to the final?
Yeah, Beth Mead's first chance in front of goal absolutely rifles that home. And we mentioned that both sides were going. It definitely, I've just seen there, it was onside in the build-up as well. Ellen White just missing out there on the cross. And it was Lucy Bronze there with the cross. And Beth Mead, the way she's been finishing this tournament, her 6th goal in the Women's Euros, rifles it home. And England have taken the lead in the Women's Euro semi-final with an absolutely great strike. Linda got a hand on it, but it still wasn't enough.
Serena Wigman's reaction is one of pure joy, and Walsh giving Beth Mead a well-deserved kiss on the forehead, and Mead now on 6 could well be on the way to winning the Golden Boot. In this tournament, as Sweden now have to regroup and find a way back into this game with 10 minutes to go until half-time. Jakob Blackstenius with the ball, but was fouled by Beth Mead. The referee says play on as Rolfo tries to cross the ball in, but it did not go anywhere. But it did not go anywhere that she wanted it to. And it's now throwing it to Sweden. I think England might have deflected this at the last moments, but they almost certainly did this time. But what must be going through Sweden and also Petter Gerhansson's minds right now?
Well, I think they'll definitely still be pushing. They've been just as dangerous in this game as England have. And for England, I think it's all about having calm heads. 10 minutes to go before half-time in a European semi-final. I think right now they just want to try and weather the storm, because I think Sweden will really be trying pushing in the last 10 minutes of this first half.
Angeldal with the ball for Sweden. She's just passed to Jakobsson, but well defended by Mary Earps in goal. Earps rolls the ball out to Leah Williamson. Now it's with Georgia Stanway. Stanway deflects the ball down, crosses the ball down the field, I should say, to Lucy Bronze. Bronze does well to hold off the advances of Rolfo, but passes to Bright. Now Williamson, the captain, needs to make a quick decision. She passes to Kirby, who in turn passes to Walsh. Walsh crossing down the field again to Bronze, who in turn finds Georgia Stanway. Now Meads, now back towards Stanway, and Bronze has been pushed down, but that doesn't matter right now. Could this be a chance for England's second? It's Georgia Stanway just inside the 18-yard box, saved by Hedvig Lindahl. And
I must say, I think it was Magdalena Eriksson there just about saving Sweden and keeping Sweden's hopes alive in this semi-final with a crucial touch. Otherwise, I think it was Ellen White there would have had a tap in, but it was great defending there by the Swedish defender.
England are still hungry for more, though, as Kira Walsh passes up the wing to Rachel Daly. That I thought she was going to go a bit further ahead, but no, she was just passed the ball around to try and confuse Sweden. But they're not fooled. They try to take it back, but England are still resilient as Lucy Bronze now has the ball, crossing to, I think that was Georgia Stanway, but Beth Mead was able to get to it just in time, and it's now back with Bright, finds Williamson, and Williamson crossing up the field to Daly. She passes to Lauren Hemp. Hemp tries to hold on to the ball, but deflected out by Jakobsson. She throws England, she takes the throw in for England, and it's now Williamson. Williamson crossing to Beth Mead, and it's now with Georgia Stanway. Stanway tries to go for the second, but it's over the crossbar. She should have thought about the situation a bit more, but she just couldn't. But she couldn't just seem to handle the pressure that well, and that is why the ball went over the crossbar.
Yeah, it was a sort of similar position to keep mentioning the goal she scored in the previous round against Spain. I think she just couldn't quite get the ball down as well as she would have wanted there. But another good chance there for England.
England seems to now have a spring in their step after that wonderful Beth Mead goal. Sweden need to start ramping up the pressure a bit more. It looks to me like England are just edging it a bit at the moment. Whilst the Sweden throw in by Ilstat is still going on, but England were able to deflect that throw. But England were able to deflect that throw in really well. Wigman and Verink in conversation. Ilstat gets ready to take the throw in for Sweden again. She throws the ball towards, I think that was a Blackstenius, but England were able to see to that one really effectively. And again, great defending by England from a Sweden long-range cross. Earps passes to Millie Bright. Bright just managing to clear the ball out of the goal area. But did the ball go over the go over the line? It did, and it'll be a throw-in to Sweden. But once again, England are able to hold their line really well. Williamson with the ball now for England. The Arsenal captain passes to Fran Kirby. Kirby now with the ball. She's passing again to Beth Mead. Mead finds Ellen White. White needs to hold on to the ball, but she can't. She should have made a split decision a bit sooner. I think she stayed in there too long, and had she reacted a bit quicker, that could well have been 2 for England.
Well, yeah, she's really busted the gut there, Ellen White, to get the ball there from Beth Mead. And as you saw there, the frustration on her face, just slightly heavy. It was a slight heavy touch by Ellen White that just got it away from her.
Bronze with the ball for England, but losing it to Sweden. Sweden need to start counter-attacking, and now as Jakobsen tried to set up Blackstenius, but Earps was able to save that ball for England really, really well. With less than 5 minutes now until half-time. How do you see this one?
Yeah, well, England at the moment, they're definitely in the ascendancy since going 1-0 up. But Sweden already still showing their attacking prowess themselves, but you're seeing the panic a little bit more in their attacks. Sweden, they're being a little bit more rash with their attacks. They know they have to go for it a little bit more now. England a lot more relaxed. They've got the one goal, and they definitely don't want to settle for just one.
Daly with the ball now for England, and passing back now to Leah Williamson. Williamson finds Millie Bright, who in turn passes to Mary Earps. Good ball control by England, so as not to let Sweden get too close to it. Williamson passes up the field to Daly, who in turn passes back to Williamson. Daly trying to signal for a couple more players to come forward. Daly and Stanway sharing the ball, but Williamson crossing the ball now was trying to cross the ball to somebody up front, but Jakobsen was able to intercept that one for Sweden. Now it's towards Aslani. Aslani survives a tackle from Williamson, but loses the ball to England. Daly to Kira Walsh. And now back to Daly. 2 minutes to go until half-time. Sweden need to make those 2 remaining minutes count, but it doesn't look like they're doing so right now, as Walsh has the ball for England, and she does a long-range cross down the field to Bronze, who finds Beth Mead and Stanway gets into a bit of a tangle with Hannah Glass, and that attempt by England looked almost goal bound, but England are still hungry for that second goal as Kirby tries to go for a long range shot towards goal, but it just misses.
Yeah, not far at all there from Frank Kirby. The goalkeeper was definitely caught out there with the quick throw, came straight back into England's grasp, and that's what I was saying, the desperation from Sweden. I think at the moment, England wouldn't want the halftime whistle to go.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't look like that. No, it doesn't look like they will. And with a minute to go, England still leads Sweden by a goal to nil. From looking tense and passive a few minutes ago, the faces on the England fans show pure confidence, and the joy at being 1-0 up. What do you think, Pete? As a throw now taken by England. Bronze to Daly, now back to Lucy Bronze. Bronze passes now to Millie Bright and they do really well to hold off Stina Blackstenius. It's now with it looked like it was now with Georgia Stanway. Now it's Walsh back to Stanway. Stanway now passing to Beth Mead, I should say. Now it's with Lucy Bronze. Bronze passing down the field to Williamson. Williamson finds Hemp, but loses the ball to Jakobsen, and we're now into now over the 45 minutes, and the halftime whistle has blown. England and Sweden came into this game with ambitions of their own, but at halftime, it's England that are in the box seats. Can they continue their momentum into the second half? And Sweden, they showed all the promise that they could beat England, but were denied but were so far denied. What do you think Petter Gerhardsson will be saying to the team at half time, Ryan?
He'll be saying to his players to just, I think, settle down a little bit more. I think because a lot of times where Sweden do look like they're ready to counterattack when England do lose the ball, they're just a little bit more rash with their decision making. I think he'll be trying to tell them to just settle down a little bit more, play your own game, and they definitely got the threat to get back in this game. But I think the worry for Sweden is, we mentioned it before the game kicked off, only 9 goals scored in the tournament compared to England's 16. So, and 5 of those were in one game as well for Sweden as well. So it could be, but I definitely still wouldn't count Sweden out for sure. I do want to quickly say as well, Beth Mead has scored more women's European Championship goals than any other player in Lionesses history, scoring 6 goals in one European Championship campaign. She'll be hoping for more for sure as well, but that's history for the Arsenal and England international. So congratulations to her.
Yes, very much. Congratulations. Very much congratulations to both of them. Halftime score at Bramall Lane: England 1, Sweden 0. We're gonna go in for a break. We're going to take a break, but we'll be back just before the start of the second half. Don't go anywhere. We've only just got started. Welcome back to the Commentary Hub's coverage of the Women's Euro 2022 semi-final between England and Sweden. Before we get back into the game, just want to quickly plug some of the other games that are coming up on the Commentary Hub tomorrow. Ross Vernon will be bringing you the commentary between Germany and France, the other semi-final to determine who will go through to the Women's Euro final, and I will be joining him in commentary as well. Also coming up on Friday, it is the start of the domestic football season as Huddersfield Town take on Burnley in the first match of the championship. Mike Harneman and Luke Turton will be on commentary duty for this one. And on Sunday, it is the big one, the Women's European Championship final. And whatever happens, we will be bringing you our own commentary of that one on the Commentary Hub with JB Stuttard presenting, and I will be behind the mic to determine to see who will be the Women's Euro 2022 champion. Now back to the here and now between England and Sweden. Both sides show great commitments, but England won out. But England have so far proven to be the dominant side and go into the second half 1-0. Will England be? Will Sweden? They're on the back foot. Sweden, they're on the back foot now. They need to start catching up. They've shown their aggression in the first half. They've shown their aggression so far in the first half. But Ryan Madden, what do you think they should do differently in the second half?
Well, I think this is where I mentioned about the halftime team talk being so crucial. I think Sweden definitely needed the halftime whistle to go, and it gives them that 15 minutes to have the talk with the coach. And I'm sure he will be trying to come up with a plan to try and stop England and get Sweden back in the game, because a 1-0 scoreline can still be very dangerous. And England had a few chances to potentially try and put the game away from Sweden. And Sweden, have, to their credit, have hung on in there, and they're still very much in this game. So, one chance can change, or, a goal can be scored in seconds in football, and a game can be switched to the knife edge. We saw that in the quarterfinal between England and Spain. Spain, 6 minutes away from getting to this semi-final, England equalised and then went on to win in extra time. So, with that being said, the same thing could happen, but in reverse. I still wouldn't count out Sweden at all. It's a very, very dangerous game, is knockout football, and they haven't had many attempts on target. I think they've had the one attempt on target, Sweden, in the first half, and they've definitely given Mary Earps a few. They've definitely given Mary Earps a thing or two to think about, but. Yeah, England, they've just got to try and keep their intensity going and keep pushing, because it can be quite hard to do so when you're leading the game. But they'll just have to keep pushing. They have to get that second goal as quick as possible, because I'm sure Sweden will be coming out the blocks very quickly to try and get back in the game.
Who do you think may score the crucial goal for Sweden?
I think it could well be Stina Blackstenius, and I think also if there's a player that's probably going to be that would be able to really create for Sweden. You mentioned her in the first half, and that was Aslini, the Swedish captain. When I think most of Sweden's positive play this evening has been through her, and I think if they are to get back in this game, I don't think she'll get on the score sheet, but I think she'll have a big role to play if they do.
And another thing we should talk about: England substitutes. They've been very effective for England. They've been very effective for England throughout this tournament, particularly with the likes of Alessia Russo and Ella Toone. Could we see more of the same? Could we see more of the same from them? Could we see more of the same from them tonight?
But potentially, I think it will probably boil down to how the game progresses in the second half. What moments happen? Obviously, if Sweden get themselves back in the game, you've got them options there. And if England do get a second goal, they might want to bring on a few more defensive players just to see the game out. It all depends on how the game transpires in the second half. But at the moment, I think Serena Wagman would be more than happy to keep the 11 players on the pitch for the start of the second half.
England and Sweden just getting into last-minute tactics before the start of the second half. Something else I should mention. Jill Scott on the substitutes bench for England. She was part of the team. She was part of the squad that made the Women's Euro finals in 2009. Back when they lost to Germany, and I believe the tournament took place in Finland that year. And if anyone knows about this, then do let me know in the live chats, please. As Sweden get ready to kick the ball off for the second half, they're now going to be playing from left to right, and England will be playing from right to left. The referee has a last word with one of the Sweden players, and away we go for the start of the second half between England and Sweden. A crucial 45 minutes ahead for both of them as Sweden take the ball courtesy of Magda Eriksson heading for Blackstenius, but England are seemingly starting as they mean to go on, but it's given Sweden an early throw-in, and Sweden take the throw-in. They keep control of the ball, but lose it to England. It's now Beth Mead with the ball. She almost passes to Ellen White, but easily defended by Sweden, and Sweden now trying to create a few chances, but England are still able to hold their own. Lucy Bronze almost takes the ball, but loses it to Fridolina Rolfo, and you have to say with the second half, Ryan, talk about starting as you mean to go on.
Absolutely there, and Beth Mead just couldn't quite get her feet together to get that to Ellen White, as you rightly said. But I think you're going to see a couple chances like that where England will want to be ruthless if Sweden do give away the ball. They'll want to be really capitalising on that now and really trying to get the game away from them.
This game could well be like it's being played in the first half. The only thing that both sides will be looking to do is force the other to make a mistake, and Sweden almost did look like they made a mistake by conceding the ball to Fran Kirby. It's now heading towards Lauren Hebb. This could cost Sweden. Hebb passing to Beth Mead, who almost puts the ball in, but that was just too wide.
Absolutely. It looked like it was Magdalena Eriksson once again. She's been the main source of line of defence there for Sweden, and once again, she's been there to save Sweden's blushes.
Corner to England, quickly taken by Beth Mead, headed towards goal by Lucy Bronze, and it's 2 for England! Lucy Bronze, very experienced, adds the second for England. It's her 10th. It's her 11th, I should say, in 95 appearances. And that was completely unexpected. It just left Sweden absolutely stunned.
Well, we mentioned in the first half, Nicholas, that set pieces could be crucial in this game. And England, the perfect start to the second half. Sweden do still look slightly rattled, just like they did at the end of the first half. There's no offside. I don't think there's any offside there to look at all. It's come all the way through to Lucy Bronze, and it's gone all the way through everybody else. The goalkeeper might have had a blocked view slightly, but England will not care in the slightest. It's come all the way through, and England potentially 1 foot in the Women's Euros final. But I think we're going to have a VAR check here by the looks of it.
Yes, you're right, Ryan. It's gone to VAR. The referee now waiting for a decision. This is surely not what England and the fans need. This is certainly what Serena Wigman and indeed Lucy Bronze don't need. We're now awaiting a final decision. The referee, Stoubley, looking very passive. She's listening to the VAR delegates in the control room, and the check is over. The goal stands. The goal stands. Collective sigh of relief all round for England. They now need to just build on that, and surely add a couple more to put this game to bed. As Lauren Hemp now has the ball, she passes to Fran Kirby. Kirby almost looked like she was going to put it back in, but Sweden now need to start getting their act together. They were a bit rattled, as you said earlier, Ryan, but they just need to just calm down and rethink their focus as Sweden are given a throw in, and it looked like an England player went down. I couldn't quite see who it was, but like I say, Sweden just need to calm down and rethink their focus.
Well, they're in a situation now, I think, Nicholas, where 2-0 down in the Euro semi-final, they've kind of got to try and throw everything at it. But at the moment, England showing their experience brilliantly. They're not letting this occasion faze them in the slightest. They've come out this second half exactly how Sarina Wiegman would want her team to come out, right out the blocks, just out like they finished the half. Just they finished the first half. They've started the second half. Sorry, just how they finished the first.
It's all right. Free kick given to England. It's now with Lauren Hemp, who in turn finds Fran Kirby. Kirby back towards Hemp. Hemp straight into the 18-yard box, palmed away by Lindahl, but England are still hungry for it. And Beth Mead, by the looks of it, going into a bit of a scuffle with Rolfo, and that is why play was momentarily stopped. A couple of substitutes have been lined up for Sweden, though, as Philippa Angeldal comes off the pitch for Caroline Seeger. Caroline Seeger, a regular at Rosengard, and the official captain for Sweden, and Jakobsen comes off the pitch to make way for Johanna Ritting Kannerid now on the pitch for Sweden. Straight free kick for Sweden. Do you think bringing on these substitutes early is a wise move for Sweden?
Well, I think in the circumstances, I think Peter Gerhardsen, I think he had to change up something going forward, because at the moment it's been all England in the first 6 minutes of the second half, and I'll cut you off here because it looks like Sweden are on the attack.
It certainly does look like they're Sweden. Oh. It certainly does look like they're on the attack, but scrappy at the last moment by Amanda Illerstedt. Sweden didn't think this one through, and England were able to punish them for their scrappy attack.
I think England there slightly let off there because Illerstedt just, I think, timed her run and header a little bit, just over-timed it not very well at all. There, Illerstedt just couldn't connect right on there, and if she did, I think Sweden would definitely be back in this game. But luckily for England, she's fluffed her lines there and went out of play for a goal kick.
Throw into Sweden by Illerstedt, but she's given the ball away to Mary Earps. Earps needs to clear this ball out of goal ASAP, just so she can clear it forward. But was this? But we're now just having a look at another confirmation of the Lucy Bronze header, which was luckily for England onside, as Bronze now has control of the ball for England. It's straight now to Millie Bright, down the wing to Leah Williamson. Williamson does really well to hold off Aslani. She passes now to Fran Kirby. Kirby passes back down the field to Bright, and now with Bronze, and now Frank Stanway to Lauren Hemp. Lauren Hemp now with the ball straight towards Kira Walsh. Walsh setting up a setting up an attempt by Ellen White, but not to be this time for England, though the Lionesses are still hungry for more. As Lauren Hemp now receives the ball, she crosses in towards the 18-yard box. White almost had the ball, but was fouled by a couple of defenders who I think are now starting to get desperate to do anything to get the ball away from England, as a substitution is being made as Jonna Andersson, ex-Chelsea, now at Hammarby, makes way, is to come on the pitch in place of Amanda Illerstedt.
Yeah, I think Peter Gerhardsen here, he knows he have to roll the dice, because I think he's just trying to do anything and everything just to try and stop this momentum for England. And like we said, one goal, the next goal in this game could be very crucial, because if Sweden can manage to get themselves on the score sheet here, it's very much game on, and it will be interesting to see how England do hold their nerve if that does happen. But yeah, Peter Gerhardsen just trying to do everything he can right now just to try and hold the momentum for England.
Gerhardsen laying out all his cards on the table by the looks of it. Serena Wigman currently holding her cards close to her chest, as Sweden now passing the ball backwards and forwards, just doing all they can, doing everything they can to try and throw off England, but it doesn't look like it's working right at this current moment, as Earps now receives the ball for England, gives it away to Rolfo for Sweden. Rolfo tries to hold on to the ball, almost loses it. Now it's back with Rolfo. Rolfo crossing towards Blackstenius, but Blackstenius just misses it. I'd have to say that was unlucky for Blackstenius not to take advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not quite sure whether Leah Williamson was just doing enough there to put her off, but I think she had back to goal there as well, just wide of the target. But in this stage of the game, you just want, if you're Blackstenius, they just want them on target, but they're getting a little bit closer here, Sweden. Sorry.
Yes, they certainly are, and it looks like Ellen White is going to come off the pitch to make way for Alessia Russo. And yes, on comes Alessia Russo. Has scored a few goals so far in the Women's Euros. Scored that cracker of a 7th goal against Norway earlier on in the tournament. Will she be able to? Can she add some more? And you'd have to say that Alessia Russo has been one of the finds of the tournament. And now here's Russo with the ball. Russo now pelting her way towards the goal. Now it's with Lauren Hemp, and it just skied over the crossbar. Hemp was really unlucky not to add England's third.
Well, it looked like that opportunity was almost harder to miss there by Lauren Hemp. You mentioned Alessia Russo straight from the get-go, just come onto the pitch. A great cross into Lauren Hemp, onside, open net, and I think maybe the Swedish defender's done just enough to put her off. Oh, the goal was gaping. I think she just couldn't quite get the connection she wanted there, but open net, that would have been very much game over, and England would have put their place into the Women's Euros final on Sunday, but still 2-0.
Sweden not out of this yet, as what looked to be Glass trying to pass to Bjorn, but England are still able. But England were able to tackle really effectively. And Serena Wigman knows that nearly 30 minutes remain for England to at least hold on to their lines, or indeed score another goal, as Glass gets ready to throw the ball towards Cannerid passing it to Sembrant, and Lindahl passing the ball out to Seeger. Seeger passing back to Lindahl, but bounced off the head of Glass. England take back control, but they concede a throw in to Sweden, and Sweden are now starting to become just that bit more ragged in my view, as England take back control of the ball, but Sweden now have it back with Anderson towards I think that's Natalie Bjorn passing to Sembrant, and but she gives the ball away to Lucy Bronze. Bronze heads the ball towards Beth Mead, but deflected by Seeger, and it's Sweden back in possession with the ball. It's now Seeger running with the ball, passing it to Aslani. Now it's back with Seeger to I think that was Bjorn. Yep, indeed it was Bjorn. Bjorn to angled Rolfo now towards Hannah Glass. Glass crossing the ball forward to Bjorn, but England doing really well to try and hold off this attack. Sweden trying to break through, but so far unable to, as what looked to be Georgia Stanway trying to take the ball away, but not really being able to do so. Sweden looked like they're on the attack for all about 2 minutes. England was still able to hold their lines really well, and indeed they still are, as Leah Williamson does really want to hold off this attack by either Canarid or Aslani. 60 and a half minutes in, it's still England 2, Sweden. It's still England 2, Sweden 0, and as Lauren Hemp tries to go forward, but nothing doing so far, and Natalie Bjorn has gone down onto the ground. I couldn't see who fouled. Natalie Bjorn does look a bit winded, but otherwise okay. It was Rachel Daly who clattered into her, but did Fran Kirby have a pass in this as well?
Potentially, yeah, but the foul was given there for sure. But in Sweden, they're just looking a little bit more, a little bit more comfortable on the ball. England letting them have the ball a little bit more. Of course, they're 2-0 up. They don't need to really tackle as much, but they want to be a little bit wary of Sweden at the moment, because the next 5-10 minutes, if they do get on the score sheet, it could very much turn nervy.
England can't afford. Despite relaxing a bit, England can't afford to be complacent, as they have conceded a corner to Sweden to be taken by Kosovare Aslani. This now the chance to reduce the deficit for Sweden. Aslani gets ready to kick the ball in towards the goal area. She does just that, straight towards. I think that might have been Rolfo, but it bounced off the side netting. What were Aslani should have kicked more to her right, in my view.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not quite sure what the wind is like in Sheffield, but I think Aslani will be hoping to try and claim the win for that corner for sure.
Okay, so maybe I was being a bit too harsh on Aslani. The wind might have had a part to play in that one as well. But Sweden need to get back into this quickly as Sembrant crosses to Canarid. Canarid tries to get the ball goal bound, but fails to do so. Blackstenius now with the ball for Sweden. England not showing any signs of complacency. They do really well to keep the ball out of play. And Serena Wiegman must be really pleased with how things are going so far, as Daly almost gets in front of Hannah Glass, but Glass tries to take the ball back, and Lauren Hemp does really well to deflect it away. And Sweden now have control again with Hannah Glass, but Glass loses the ball, and it's another throw in to Sweden as what looks to be Aslani just inside the goal area, tries to send it forward, but well deflected by Rachel Daly. Are they now worse? Were England looking like they were about to sort of lure Sweden into a trap? And if so, they must have succeeded. But a corner has been given to Sweden to be taken by Jonna Andersson, their fourth of the game. And they need to make this corner count as they need to peg back this deficit as Andersson kicks the ball into the goal area, almost sent in by Fridolina Rolfo. How did that ball stay out? How did it stay out? And but Sweden aren't done yet. Blackstenius just over the crossbar. Very unlucky for her not to bring back the deficit. Mary Earps did really well earlier on to keep that ball out, but very unlucky for Stina Blackstenius.
Yeah, it's come off her knee in the end, and that's a top save by Mary Earp. She made a couple of really good saves in the first half. She made another top one there. Sweden still getting closer, but England holding firm.
Another corner by the looks of it. To Sweden, as everyone gets into position, or is it a free kick? We'll have is it a free kick? I'll have to take. It's another corner to Sweden, and in goes the ball in towards the goal here. Deflected again by England. Sweden just can't seem to get through them right now, but they're not done yet. It's another corner to be taken by Jonna Andersson. Andersson raises her hand to signal that she's ready. The ball goes in, and England do really well to keep this one out. But Sweden are now stuck. But Sweden are just throwing everything at it, and Mary Earps just saves in time. Mary Earps, she is just a pillar of the England squad right now with those incredible saves. What more can you possibly want? What more can you possibly want from a player as good as she?
Yeah, absolutely. Mary Earps has had to be alert, and she has been brilliant in the last few exchanges here, as England puts Sweden under a bit more pressure here.
They certainly look like they are putting Sweden under a bit more pressure as Lauren Hemp, tries to get towards goal, almost deflected in by Alessia Russo, unlucky to miss. But Bronze gives England another chance. This time finds Leah Williamson. Williamson does really well, but she's too far out. Or was that Daly? No, it was Daly. As Frank Kirby has the ball towards Lauren Hemp. Now back towards Kirby. Kirby just outside the 18-yard box. Passes back to Lauren Hemp. Hemp passing now to Kira Walsh. Walsh now back to Rachel Daly. Now straight towards Leah Williamson. And Rachel Daly once again. Daly trying to set up an opportunity for England. She passes now to Frank Kirby, and now Kira Walsh. Kira Walsh now with the ball for England. Straight down towards Frank Kirby. Kirby sends it to Alessia Russo. That was almost the third goal. Does a back pass, and England are 3-0 up. What a finish by Alessia Russo. That was completely unexpected. I didn't expect her to see a score like that, but once again, Alessia Russo contributes to a brilliant night for England.
Alessia Russo, take a bow. That is a fantastic finish in the circumstances in the Euro semi-final as well. Sweden put England under so much pressure, and just as it looked like Sweden were going to try and get themselves back in the game, Alessia Russo tried again. Backheeled, I think it nutmegged two players in the process. Just seeing the replay, no, just the goalkeeper. A fantastic finish, And could this well be her audition to potentially starting in the Women's Euros final, as England look to have put one foot in to Sunday's final? Fantastic finish there by Alicia Russo.
Complete look of disbelief on the face of Hedvig Lindahl, and also Caroline Seger looked rather stunned as well. And Sweden need to start getting themselves regrouped and reorganised in order to try and reduce the deficit. But 3-0 up, that's short. But 3-0 down, that's surely a mountain to climb for Sweden.
Yeah, you saw the frustration there with the shot. I think that just sums up how Sweden feel at the moment. They tried to break down England, and for how brilliant England have been in this tournament going forward, still only conceded one goal. They're scoring multiple goals. They're brilliant to watch, and defensively, they're just as ill-disciplined. It's a perfect storm for Sarina Wiegman's England.
Lauren Hebb almost having the ball for England just inside the goal area, but Hannah Glass was well alert and was able to pass to Hedvig Lindahl without any problems. But that's of little consolation for Sweden, as Robert the Bruce once said, try again. But Sweden have only 20 minutes to do that, and 20 minutes as we know in a game of football goes by very quickly, as Rolfo passes up the field to Jonna Andersson. Andersson passing back to Hannah Glass. Now it's with Sweden still, but England are able to retake the advantage. Alessia Russo trying to go after Natalie Bjorn. Now the ball is with Linda Sembrandt. Sembrandt's trying to pass to I think that might have been Canarid, but England were but again well defended by England, and the fans are really showing their appreciation right now, as I'm sure all the England supporting listeners on the commentary hub are. We're also on the commentary hub too, Storm FM and JB Sports. You can also hear us on our Twitch channel. Throw-in taken by Rachel Daly, and England now have at least 1 foot in the Women's Euro final, as Alessia Russo looked like she had the ball, but Petter Gerhardsson now in conversation with Magnus Wittmann, his assistant coach. Throw-in to be taken again by Rachel Daly after a quick word with Esther Staalby, and she throws to Millie Bright. Now it's with Lucy Bronze. Lucy Bronze now passing to I think that was Lauren Hebb. Now it's Kira Walsh aiming towards Alessia Russo by the looks of it, but again that only concedes a throw-in to Sweden, and Petter Gerhardsson knows that it could well be all over within the next 18 minutes. England have completed 318 passes so far. Sweden only 198, and they need to do a bit more than that if they are to get themselves back into the game. Magda Eriksson concedes the ball to England, and a foul on Georgia Stanway by what looks to be Natalie Bjorn, and Natalie Bjorn has been given a yellow card. I'm not surprised, but how do you see it, Ryan?
Yeah, that's a sign of frustration there once again there by another Swedish player, this time Bjorn. Completely missing the ball and going straight through Georgia Stanway. Yellow card was definitely the right decision, but England, I think they're going to try and at least enjoy the next under 20 minutes now to go. but I think it might well be settling in that Sweden that they haven't got long left to try and salvage this, and it looks like time is 100% against them, and England on home soil look like they will be booking their place in the final.
We did say before going on air that home advantage could well be the key for them, and the attendance is just over 28,500, or to be more precise, 28,624 at Bramall Lane, and the fans and the England fans showering their squad with praise. Only one substitution made by Sarina Wiegman, as opposed to 6 in their previous game against Spain. But so far, a need for another substitute is proving to be unnecessary right now, as Kira Walsh passes to what looks to be Georgia Stanway. Now it's Daly towards Fran Kirby. Kirby now in control of Kirby now with the ball for England. She's passing to Lauren Hemp, but nicked by Sweden. It's now with Ritten Kannerid tries to find somebody up front, but Mary Earps was easily able to pick up that one. And Earps now running to the centre of her goal. It looks like a couple more of Sweden players will be coming on, one of which was Lena Hurtig, as Earps gets ready to clear the ball out of goal, almost picked up by Stina Blackstenius, and now the ball is with Lucy Bronze, picked up again by Jonna Anderson, but we're almost getting ready to see a couple of Sweden substitutes coming on, as Stina Blackstenius, who almost had a few goal scoring opportunities herself, makes way for Lena Hurtig. Is this the right time to rest her?
Well, I don't think she'll have much to really to rest their for Blackstenius. I don't think they'll be playing. I don't think they'll be playing again in this tournament. But maybe they're just trying to switch it up as
Frank Kirby now goes for. Frank Kirby goes to the fourth. Is he going to go? And it just goes in! And it's 4 for England! Frank Kirby! What an amazing finish! We didn't know which way the ball was going to go, but Kirby just pounced whenever she needed to, and it was just the right time for England. They're 4-0 up, and this surely has put the game to bed.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to give it. Well, for Frank Kirby, when I look at the replay here, there's the defending absolutely static with Sweden. England won't care. Top finish. You probably have to give the assist there to Hedvig Linda by there. Just couldn't quite keep her gloves on it. But England in absolute dreamland here, and now making a statement to Germany and France, who play each other tomorrow. To see who will face England. It is going to be England now, but fantastic finish. Like I said, bit of luck there with the goalkeeper, but England now really making a statement against, I have to say, a Swedish side we mentioned only conceded 2 before this game, and England have scored 4 against them. Incredible stuff.
Yes, very incredible stuff. And before that goal was scored, another of the substitutes that came on was, in fact, Hannah Bennison in place of Linda Sembrant. And for Frank Kirby, her second goal of the tournament. She scored against Northern Ireland in the group stage, and the England fans are well and truly in 7th heaven now. They know that just 13 minutes stand between them and a place in the Women's Euro final, as Ella Toon looks like she's going to come on as a substitute. And straight away, she's going to come on for the goal scorer, Frank Kirby. And she receives a standing ovation from the fans, and well-deserved. But imagine just scoring that crucial goal only to make way for another player.
Yeah, definitely. Frank Kirby, one of England's top players as well. But we've got another one coming on here, Renella Toon, played a big role for England getting here this evening to the semi-final, and she will have an opportunity now to. I think for England now, as these substitutions that are coming on, it's all about trying to see if they can get in Serena Wagman's starting 11 for the final.
This could well be, if that is the case, this could well be the biggest audition they've ever had to deal with, as Rolfo now has the ball for Sweden. Surely a consolation goal will be all that Sweden will want now. It's too little, too late for them to make any serious impact against England. But that attempt on goal was well and truly saved by Mary Earps. We'll have Ryan's player of the match in approximately 5 to 6 minutes time, as England now have the ball. It's Williamson to Ella Toon. Interesting bicycle kick. Was aiming for Lauren Hemp, but that didn't go the way she wanted, did it?
No, definitely not. But I think the circumstances are that England won't care too much. I think they'll want to keep defensively. They'll still want to keep the clean sheet, but they're enjoying themselves out there now, and you can't blame them.
They certainly are right now, as Kira Walsh passes to Rachel Daly. Daly now finding Leah Williamson, who in turn passes to Georgia Stanway. Almost loses the ball, but she does well to hold on to it. Passes again to Lucy Bronze. Bronze needs to find Ella Toon, and she does. Ella Toon straight towards Alessia Russo, but deflected over by Natalie Bjorn. That was a well-timed defence by Sweden, and I haven't said that many times tonight. I'd have to say that was perhaps the only meaningful defence by Sweden that I've ever seen tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Just about there, but it was nearly went into her own net there, but John there, but just over the bar. In England, we're getting a little bit more. This is almost turning into the similar game as it was against Norway, where the floodgates were just opening up for them, and you wouldn't bet against them getting a couple more in the last 10 minutes.
Corner to England to be taken by Beth Mead. She kicks the ball into the goal area, headed away by the Sweden defenders. It's now back with Ella Toon. Toon passing to Kira Walsh. Walsh passing to Lucy Bronze. England couldn't take advantage from that corner, but like Ryan says, they just don't seem to care right now, but they will care about what just happened to Lauren Hemp. Clash of heads by the looks of it. Hemp's now on the ground, and that is not what England need at this moment in time. Hemp was one of the star players. I think she just kicked her in. I think that was a kick in the chest by Natalie Bjorn. But our main concern right now is whether Lauren Hemp is okay. She appears to be winded, but she doesn't look too badly hurt. And Serena Wigman also understandably looking concerned. The physio's now coming over to have a look at her. If they have to withdraw Lauren Hemp for the final, that will be a blow for England.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like on the replay, I could be wrong though, but it looked like what I just saw on the replay, it looked like the ball might have just smacked her against the face. And of course, in football now, it's very prominent with head injuries and concussion protocols and things like that. You don't want to take any chances. Let's hope Lauren Hemp is okay, and it wouldn't surprise me if she does get taken off just as a precaution, maybe, just so she is okay. It looks like she's getting some drink now, so she looks to be okay, but it looks like they might be signaling for a substitution, and that does not surprise me at all.
If that is the case, then that could well be Alex Greenwood. Just saw her getting ready to come on. Lauren Hemp is back up on her feet, so she is okay, but she is being led around by the physios, and she's straight back into the action. That's good news as Sweden take the throw-in with 7 minutes to go, and another foul. What looks to be by Lucy Bronze on a Swedish player, which I did not recognise, as Lindahl has the ball for Sweden, passes it out of goal, and it's now with Natalie Bjorn. Bjorn now for Sweden. She's being pursued by Alessia Russo, but she's given it to Hannah Bennison. Bennison, who was the substitute that scored in that incredible 5-0 drubbing of Portugal in the group stages, as Caroline Seeger now has control of the ball for Sweden, but she gives the ball away to Lauren Hemp. Hemp with the ball now for England. She needs to pass to someone quickly, and it's straight towards Beth Mead, but Mead concedes that one. That won't matter now for England. They just want to keep forcing Sweden, I should say, to make mistakes, as Sophia Jakobsen is fouled, and Georgia Stanway has been given a yellow card for her troubles. How do you see this one?
Yeah, she's just looking at the replay there. She knew that she did go in a little bit too late there. She put her hands up straight away. Obviously didn't mean it, but referee right on hand did give the yellow card. I have to say the referee in this game on the pitch hasn't really put a foot wrong in this game at all.
Yeah, she's handled the situation really well, and Lauren Hemp and Georgia Stanway very quick to say, hands up, my fault, as a free kick being given to Sweden, as the ball is now with Rolfo, and Rolfo now just inside the 18-yard box, trying to cross to what looked to be a Hurtig, but was easily dealt with by Sweden are still hungry for it. It's now with Kannerid, but now passing it, trying to pass to Caroline Seeger, but Alessia Russo did really well to deflect that. In fact, three substitutes are going to come on for England, and Beth Mead will make way for Chloe Kelly. Chloe Kelly, very experienced. Very experienced for England. Missed the 2019 World Cup through injury, but Beth Mead, surely the player of the tournament, as she in turn makes way for Chloe Kelly, and Kelly sprints onto the pitch, and coming off for Jill Scott will be Georgia Stanway. I think that was a quick move made by Serena Bigman so as not to put her in any danger of missing out for the for the Euros final. And on comes Jill Scott, very experienced, and like I mentioned, in the squad for the Euro 2009 final. And I think Rachel Daly is going to come off the pitch as well. Yes, she is, as Daly sprints off the field to make way for Alex Greenwood. Alex Greenwood has been really good in defence for England in this for England in the final few minutes. And whilst all this is going on, Ryan, who is your player of the match, as sponsored by Commentary Services?
Well, you mentioned her as the player of the tournament. For me, you could name multiple candidates for the player of the match this evening, but for me, it has to be Beth Mead. She helps. Well, the goal came at, we're seeing this as a rout now, almost being 4-0, but we must remember just how tight and tense it was in the first half, and that goal came at the perfect time. Beth Mead was there, and just as she was as well for the cross into Lucy Bronze as well, she scored and made a goal. For me, Beth, like I said, you can name multiple candidates. Frank Kirby as well has been brilliant, but for me, the player of the tournament, as you mentioned, is my player of the match, and that is Beth Mead.
Well, so congratulations to her taking our player of the match, as sponsored by our friends at Commentary Services, as Millie Bright now passes the ball around to Alex Greenwood. Greenwood trying to cross forward to Chloe Kelly, but Sweden are having none of it. England now know that they are just 2 minutes away from reaching the Euro 2022 final. Jill Scott now with the ball. She's passed now to what looks to be Lauren Hemp. It's now with Lucy Bronze. Bronze back now to Millie Bright and Leah Williamson. Williamson straight towards Alex Greenwood. Greenwood now finds Greenwood now finds Chloe Kelly. It doesn't matter to the fans. It doesn't matter what England do. They have now got just about 2 feet inside the door of the Euro 2022 final as Kira Walsh trying to cross towards Lauren Hemp, but Scott deflects it back towards Bronze, and it's now back with Scott, but Scott loses it to Sweden, and Sweden still doing really well to try and hold on, but Toon is hounding them, and England take back the ball through Lucy Bronze, and a foul on Lena Hurtig, but Hurtig does really well to just get back on her feet. Sweden now have less than 50 seconds of normal time to at least try and get a consolation goal. They can't beat England, whatever happens. It's all over for them now. And but England are just about feeling confident they can at least just sneak in a 5th just for fun, as Greenwood passes to Williamson, and now straight towards Kira Walsh. 20 seconds of normal time left, and Ella Toon now running up the pitch straight towards Lauren Hemp, who passes back towards Toon. Or should that be Russo back towards Toon? Now it's Lauren Hemp. Hemp straight towards Alessia Russo, and who misses? But England won't seem to care about that. Russo looks like, I tried that one, but it didn't go in. And
so close there. Sorry, for Alicia Russo. Lauren Hemp, brilliant through ball there. Alicia Russo, just looked like the Swedish defender just might have put Russo off slightly, but England, like I said, it's just so refreshing to see an England side just having fun, expressing themselves here at a major tournament, and really playing well.
But Canarid now looking for a goal for Sweden. She passes to Hurtig. Incidentally, we now have 3 minutes of injury time added on, as opposed to no added on time in the first half. Sweden just need to throw everything but the kitchen sink at England just to get a consolation goal. But England have taken the ball back through Lauren Hemp. Hemp tries to find someone. She passes to Jill Scott. Jill Scott brought down by Caroline Sager, and Jill Scott looks okay. I think she just might have been momentarily stunned. I think the look up on her face was a wow, that was a big one. And Alex Greenwood now crossing the ball to Ella Toon, who passes to Chloe Kelly. Kelly going for a long range shot, but easily saved by Lindahl. They might try and get a 5th one in, England, but nobody seems to really matter. But nobody seems to really care whether it will go in or not, as Greenwood, or I should say, passes now to Ella Toon. Sweden tries to take it back. It's now with Hurtig, who passes to Sager. Sager with the ball now for Sweden, who in turn now passing to, I think that might have been Hannah Glass. It's now Hannah Glass. Glass was trying to cross into the goal area, but it was easily picked by Mary Earps with about 35 seconds of injury time remaining, and England can just rest easy, knowing that a place in the final is very much theirs, as Earps kicks the ball out of the goal area straight towards Alessia Russo, bundled down but quickly back up. Russo now with the ball, 10 seconds left as Lucy Bronze tries to cross to Lauren Hemp, but deflected away by Amanda Nielden for Sweden, and it's now with Hannah Bennison. And there it goes, the final whistle. It's full time, and it's full time, and England are through to the Women's Euro 2022 final. Just like the men in the Women's Euro last year, they're through to a final to be played at Wembley. But for England women, it is their first Euros final since 2009 when they lost to Germany. But that won't matter right now. They just need to psych themselves up and prepare for what could potentially be one of the biggest finals of their squad's lives. A 4-0 thrashing of Sweden. The men failed to win against Italy in the final at Wembley last year. Can England women do it this time? We shall see. This is very much England's night. Both sides started strongly, but England just came out on top in the end. We'll have a discussion in just a moment. Final score at Bramall Lane: England 4, Sweden 0.
Yeah, an absolute fantastic display there by the Lionesses. And now they go to a sold-out Wembley Stadium on Sunday, where dreams could potentially be coming true. And if they play like this, there's no reason why it won't be coming home there's no reason why it can't not come home on Sunday. And let's not make any mistake here at all. That would have been a huge statement for the Lionesses tonight. And Germany or France, they've also got a day extra to prepare for the final compared to Germany and France. And why not? They can go all the way on Sunday for such a huge occasion. So huge congratulations to the Lionesses and, of course, Sarina Wiegman. A fantastic job she's done. 20 goals in this tournament so far and only one conceded on the route to a final. And you can't get much better than that.
104 goals in total since her arrival. So that has got to be that's got to make it even more sweeter for England. But for Sweden, commiserations to them. They put up a brave fight in the first half, but once England got going and showed their superiority that we know them for, they just faded away, and the disappointment on the face of Petter Gerhardsson is clear to see. But England now starting to get into the dancing mood with Jill Scott and Millie Bright. For Jill Scott, it is her second Women's Euro final, having been in the squad in the 2009 tournament. So she knows them. So she knows the defeat very well indeed. What must be going through her mind right now, knowing that her potential second final is just days away.
Yeah, she to be honest, I think at the moment for Sarina Wiegman and all those England players, they'll just be taking it in right now. And I'm sure they'll be preparing in a couple days tomorrow. But tonight, I think it's all about a celebration of getting to the final. 4 attempts. Obviously, not all the players out there would have played in all 3 of those semi-finals, but a couple of them, as you mentioned, that are in this group were in the last England final. It was in the last Euro final England managed to get to the Lionesses, that is, of course. But tonight will be about a huge celebration, home soil, in a European final, as you mentioned, just like the men last year. But can the Lionesses go one further than the men's team did last year? That is the question that will be answered on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll just have to. Yeah, but but before we go, just a quick mention for. But before we go, a quick mention for Sweden. Why do you think they just seemed to fade away when England started scoring?
Well, I just think that I mentioned it before. I mentioned it before we kicked off this evening. The first goal in this game was so crucial, and I felt there were at points where Sweden, they just looked like they could really put pressure on England at 0-0. But England, once they scored, they're just so relentless, and I don't think there's many teams, and we're going to find out on Sunday whether Germany and or France can withstand the pressure from England. Going forward, they're just so relentless and they're so ill-disciplined. They're so disciplined at the back, England, that Sweden just couldn't cope with them. I think it was just the case of it was England's night, and Sweden, they were a very, very worthy opponent to be in the semi-final. They're no walkovers for sure, but England tonight have made Sweden look very, very ordinary, and that is a very good compliment to have for the Lionesses. They've beaten a very good Swedish side. We must not forget, second in the FIFA World Rankings. I don't think it's the case of Sweden not being good enough to score. England were just that good, I think, to help and they did have their chances, Sweden, but Mary Earps, we must mention 2 or 3 brilliant saves as well at important moments in the match. With 2-0, it was on a knife edge, and England just scored their right goals at the right time, and I just think that there wasn't really much Sweden could really do about it. I think England were just that much better than Sweden, realistically.
Okay, Ryan. Thank you very much for being part of this broadcast on the commentary of tonight. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. I'm looking forward to the next one.
All right. Before we go, just a quick mention of some of the games coming up within the coming days. Tomorrow, Germany and France take on each other in the second semi-final. Who will join England? Who will join England in the final? You can find out by joining Russ Vernon and myself tomorrow evening on the Commentary Hub, and on Friday it's the start of the domestic football season as Burnley and Huddersfield Town take on each other in the Championship. Mike Harneman and Luke Turton will be on commentary for that one. And on Sunday, it is the big one, the European Championship final between England and France or Germany. And I will be on commentary for that one with JB Stuttard on presenting duties. England have made sure England have put 4 past Sweden to ensure that they are well on the way. To ensuring that on Sunday football will be well and truly coming home. Good night.